Bring you up to speed with what's happening right now. 32,000 are in shelters as we speak. We've got at least two major pipelines into and out of that area. I'm talking about the Colonial Pipeline and the Explorer Pipeline. Together, they account for close to 4 million barrels of oil a day. A lot of jet fuel there through Colonial as well. A lot of gas, refined gas through that as well. And that's going to be stymied for a while, slowed for a while, even if part of the Colonial Pipeline is put back up. That's a big one. That Colonial one goes through a dozen states, all the way from the Gulf, for example, all the way up to New Jersey. The Explorer one is big in its own right, in fact, that it's almost entirely oil-centric. So if those are both out of operation, and the fact that they've been out of operation for the better part of 5 days now, it gives you an idea of the delay just getting back up to speed. So what happens now? Points of Light Board of Directors Chairman Neil Bush. He's at the Houston Convention Center where they're dealing with crowds, and so far, so good. Neil, very good to have you. What is it like there? What are you hearing about just containing crowds? Because other cities like San Antonio have volunteered to take some of those folks.
Neil, first of all, I'm amazed. I'm here at the George R. Brown Convention Center, and I'm amazed at how well coordinated things seem to be here. If you look behind me, you'll see people walking by that represent different stakeholders. We've got local city government officials who have deployed their agencies to help these people. FEMA, of course, Red Cross is here in great numbers. Volunteers from Houston and around the country are helping in so many ways. If you look into these rooms off to the side, there are supplies that have been provided by the community to fill the vital needs of the folks that have been displaced. And let me just say, the Bush family calls Houston home. And on behalf of my parents and all Bush family members, I want to extend our deepest sympathy and prayers to those that have been devastated by the floodwaters here in Houston. And also give our greatest thanks to those that have coordinated this massive life-saving first recovery work. And Neil, the main point here is we're going to need thousands and thousands and thousands of volunteers over time. And as chairman of Points of Light, the largest organization focused on volunteer service, I want to encourage people to start planning, especially corporate leaders. I know you speak to a lot of the corporations, but corporate leaders who want to deploy their workplace volunteers to come to Houston, give us time to organize the volunteer reception areas, give us time to organize with the local nonprofit organizations on the ground. We want to use volunteers effectively. Don't send them now. Do not put a stress on our infrastructure in Houston. There will be a time and a place that's appropriate for that. But our gratitude for the thousands of Points of Light that are helping neighbor to neighbor in this city, and the flotilla of people that are helping. It's been a remarkable thing to witness personally.
I've seen it myself, Neil, and you're quite right. You know what you mentioned, your father, of course, President George Bush and Barbara Bush, your mom, they're up in Kennebunkport, but they had sent their best wishes and thoughts and prayers to the people of Houston and surrounding areas. What have they told you or expressed to you about what's going on?
Well, they've been kind of, unfortunately, glued to the tube and not here on the ground, so they're just watching with great interest and with their hearts open for the best possible outcome. What's impressed me by being here...
What they thought? I'm sorry, my friend, but did they talk about how the coordination between federal, state, local officials has been going, how President Trump has been doing with it?
Yeah, they have not shared any of that with me, and I'm not sure they're plugged in enough to be able to even talk about that.
Sure.
But if you're living in Houston and you turn on your TV and you watch the mayor and the county judge and you see the FEMA personnel and the Red Cross and all these folks working tirelessly together to coordinate the best recovery outcome possible for those that have been stranded and are in harm's way, it's been remarkable. And I'm pretty sure I can speak on their behalf to say that it's been a remarkable sign of collaboration and impact on this community.
No, I'm sure that's probably an understatement. Neil, of course, you have two brothers who have dealt, and you have dealt, of course, on a business basis with natural disasters. Of course, your brother Jeb Bush handling multiple hurricanes in Florida. Your other brother, of course, the President of the United States, George Bush, who had to deal with a number of hurricanes, natural disasters, things like 9/11 come to mind. But Katrina, it often comes up about whether he got there too late and the back and forth over that and what's a president to do. How do you think President Trump has handled it with his visit this week, planning to come back, we're told, on Saturday? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's done fine. What's really more important, frankly, is what's happening on the ground. And it appears to me that FEMA is very well organized here at this convention center and helping with the needs of people whose needs are kind of at that high level right now. And so it really, I mean, presidential leadership's important. You know what's really amazing to see, frankly, because I know you're not trying to ease this into a political waterway, but this transcends politics. To see Republicans, Democrats, people that are of different economic, and we have people that have had religious differences and economic disparities are all coming together, uniting in service, locking arms and doing what's right for their neighbor. When people jump on the boats, they don't care if a Democrat's picking up a Republican or vice versa. It has nothing to do with politics.
That's an excellent point. But having said that, you know, you've got to think too, Neil, there's a back and forth as to how expensive this is going to be. And, you know, there was the dust up over that with Sandy aid on the part of many in the Texas delegation, other delegations who felt that that was overkill, too much funding. You know, no one's getting in the back and forth as what's a figure right now outside. This is going to be a very expensive storm. Has that been put to bed now, and that the funding and help from the federal government is coming, this shutdown talk in Washington notwithstanding?
Right. Yeah. You know, it's way above my expertise to talk about federal funding and those kinds of things. What I do believe passionately in is that the government alone can't solve this problem. And while it's playing a critical role right now in helping with the immediate needs of these people that have been dislocated, over the long haul, it's going to take an army of people that have a light that's shining brightly for service to others. And I'm sorry to keep bridging away from political talk, but there's going to be a great need for an army of volunteers.
You're absolutely
and so I'm again encouraging those corporate leaders that are watching your show to put on hold, but to start planning to deploy people into this region where they're going to be put to great use once the infrastructure is set up to handle it.
And by the way, Neil, you should have put me down for that. I was obligated to ask, and you were just as free to answer the way you did and the way you should have. Neil Bush, it's very good to have you. Thank you for all you're doing. All right, in the meantime.